I'm going to share with you the 15 AI tools that you can use to build $1 million business without hiring more employees. And no, this isn't just another ChatGPT walkthrough that you've seen 1,000 times. These AI tools are what I'm implementing right now in dozens of my companies to be more productive and stay ahead of the competition. Which brings us to the first tool to build your $1 million business, Fathom. Fathom is a meeting copilot that records, it transcribes, and it spits out instantly role and specific summaries. It's so crazy. I mean, essentially think about having a professional dictator in every meeting that remembers every note, every document, everything that was discussed, every to-do, and then gives you that at the end of the meeting so nobody has to argue about who said what. A lot of times when people in meetings are like so focused on taking notes that they're not paying attention to what's going on. They might miss an opportunity where they could have made an extra $100,000, but they weren't paying attention because they're like, oh, is the details of these notes accurate? Fathom's crazy. It literally auto picks up action items. It sends next steps to everybody that was on the call based on their role. You can even ask Fathom anything. You can say, what did my sales guy say? What were the updates on the revenue? You can get answers to all your questions in seconds. Here's what's crazy with tools like Fathom is that in the future, as a leader, I'll be able to ask it what went on in my business. Imagine if every meeting that's happened amongst different people that work for me is documented, recorded, and then I can say, okay, give me the summary of the day based on conversation, and it's just boom, 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 boom. It is so much more efficient. I gotta be honest with you. People that don't use tools like this, man, they're working harder than they have to. And it's on the back end of this that we start to see the glimpse of what's called organizational AI, because now it has all the information of all your team members and what makes them smart. And if you pair all of that with external language models, and now you can train new people based on what the internal people have shared in meetings. Fathom helps you build your $1 million business by being able to keep on top of people without spending 10 to 20 hours a week trying to figure out what everybody's saying. It's the way you get scale without having to pay for more people. Before I get into the next tool, I just want to encourage you to consider the future of work is going from doer of tasks to director. People that understand what can be done and direct the workflow of business, they're going to be the richest people. The ones that are going to build the businesses to $1 million the fastest are directors, not the people that execute to-do lists. AI is going to do that better than any person. You need to become a world-class director. That's why these tools are so important for you. Which brings us to the next tool to build your $1 million business, Zapier. I've been using Zapier longer than almost every tool that I'm going to share with you. And what I've always been impressed is its ability to innovate. It literally automates all your workflows between all the different apps that you're using to make sure that the information is in flow, and you can create processes that are automated so that you only have to design it once and it will do that 24 hours while you're on vacation without you stressing out. If you want to build $1 million business, you have to automate the delivery system. I saw recently a company doing $25 million a year getting paid to build apps using AI. And the truth is all they did was take a form the client filled out once they paid them the $8,000 for the app that asked them all the questions. And then it took all that information, it automated submitting that to the AI that could code the app. Then the AI coded it. Then it sent an email to the customer to review it and gave them 3 revisions, took all the feedback, updated the app, revisions, updated the app. And that whole process was automated by a tool like Zapier. That's what it looks like. Think about it. Somebody buys, send them an email, a link to onboard. They fill out the survey. That creates all the different things within your company that needs to happen. It schedules the calls. It notifies the team. It makes sure they get set up in the billing system. Everything that is an administrative task can be automated with Zapier. This will help you get at least 25 hours of your week back. If you learn Zapier and it's really easy to just connect everything and you automate the delivery of your business, you will get so much time back. Before I share the third tool, if you want to try out any of these tools for yourself, just check out the description. I've linked up all of them for you. But if you're building real AI innovation similar to the ones that I mentioned below, and you want a partner that can get you in front of millions of people, then go find me on Instagram and message me the word ventures. This is only for the real builders out there, like creating real technology and AI, not automation agencies, not a bunch of fluff. Like I'm talking about the builders. You want to potentially partner with me? Message me ventures on Instagram and we'll see if you'd be a fit. Which brings us to the next tool to build your $1 million business, Gumloop. So Gumloop may look like Zapier on the surface, but what we love about it and why I use it in every one of the department functions in my company is the fact that it creates a visual representation of a process or a workflow, and then it can use AI to make decisions. And that's where Zapier, I feel, falls short a little bit, to actually route and execute those tasks in a way that doesn't require me to hard code it. And that's why it can automate any workflow using AI. We use it for all financial automation, every step of it. I mean, it's kind of wild how much processes, from submitting expenses to reconciling the bank accounts to approving purchase orders. You can use Gumloop to do that because it uses AI to make decisions. Same thing for recruiting. You wouldn't believe how much time analyzing resumes, processing videos, scheduling calls, all of that could be automated and saving people tons of times. And then just even lead scoring, lead routing, first contact with the customer or some kind of process. Gumloop gives you that visual platform that uses AI to route logic and decisions. Which brings us to the next tool to build your $1 million business, Cursor. Cursor is essentially an AI-powered code editor that turns plain language prompts into production ready code. It was one of the things that AI started doing, that in marketing copy, that showed people the power of using artificial intelligence to create things. So the other day I walk in and I see one of my guys in finance coding. And I said, bro, how do you even know how to code? And he said, I'm using Cursor. Code is leverage. Shipping features faster, squashing bugs sooner, freeing up your team from hours of things that are non-revenue generating activities. I was blown away that somebody that's not really technical, just understands logic, they could use Cursor to write code. I'm talking like real software code, but to somebody that's never coded, they just understand the logic. Companies that have programmers, there's this philosophy called the 10x programmer, where there are people that are 10 times more productive than the next nearest programmer on their team. What happens now is Cursor allows me to, instead of taking 10 programmers, paying them each $250,000 a year, that's $2.5 million in salary, I can have one programmer use Cursor and be as productive as 10 with 10 times the code quality. The CEO of Microsoft recently said that within 9 to 12 months, 90% of their code will be written by AI. Cursor is the platform of choice for all the programmers to be able to get there. And that could change tomorrow. And that's why you always want to be up to date with the latest in AI. In a second, I'm going to talk about another tool that lets you build apps. But the difference is Cursor's meant for the programmer, where the other one is anybody can use it, just like creating a spreadsheet. But I'm going to save that one for later. There's this thing called refactoring code, which is like cleaning things up and creating unit tests, which kind of protects the code from bugs and stuff. And like, these are things that most programmers don't want to do. And I honestly don't blame them. When I was writing code, I didn't want to do it either. The cool part is I can now ask Cursor to do it for me. And not only will it be 100% accurate, it will be more complete. It'll be done using best practices. It will be named better. It won't have any bugs because I was too tired to finish some, closing some curly brace. And it is faster than I could ever possibly do it. It's getting to the point where you can actually parallelize it, meaning I can kick off 5 different tasks at the same time, and Cursor can update the code base in parallel, not sequentially. That will literally 10x your productivity. This is why I keep going back to the limit is your creativity. The limit's your ability to direct Cursor in the code base, not can it do it. It's what should it do in what order. Which brings us to the next tool to build your $1 million business, Notebook LM. So what's interesting is Google has Gemini, which is their AI similar to ChatGPT, but somebody within Google built Notebook LM and they thought it was powerful enough to spin it out as its own tool. Now, it is essentially a research and thinking partner for you. We use this for a lot of stuff. I use it for analyzing deals. I use it for coming up with creative ideas. I use it the other day for a board I sit on. I wanted to ask really good questions of the CEO, so I use it to analyze all the board information. It is crazy. If you want to understand legal structures and hiring and resumes, it's like this. If you want to get to your first million, you just need to move faster, and Notebook LM is going to help you do that. Think about this. If you're a marketing person, you can take all your past campaign results, organizing by top performing campaigns, and ask it to act like a brand strategist and create new campaigns, design new logos, create instant drafts. We use it on the media team to take every transcript of everything I've ever said, ingest it, analyze it, pull out metaphors I've used, pull out aphorisms I've talked about, pull out stories, pull out unique perspectives, pull out essentially what makes Dan Dan. And then from that place, we can use it to co-create new content. It is awesome. I don't use it to create new ideas, but I use it to help punch up my current ideas based on things I've said already in the past. So if you wanted a research partner to sit like sidekick to you, NotebookLM's the tool. Which brings us to the next tool to build your $1 million business, ChatGPT Deep Research. What makes deep research completely different than other language models is it allows you to access real-time web data and perform market research with AI-generated reports. Here's one of the craziest use cases that I use almost daily that nobody talks about. If you want to get on a podcast, let's say you want to get connected to me, you can ask AI, I want to connect with Dan Martell, analyze all the people that I know that it has access to on social media. Maybe you've been on other podcasts, so it knows you know those guests. Maybe you've interviewed people on your podcast, so it knows you know those people. It can analyze your social graph to figure out who follows you. And you can tell it to go do the deep research around all those relationships to give you the 5 people that can make an introduction to me that you already know. And the coolest part is you could say, tell me the connection, give me the copy that I should text my friend to ask for the introduction, and it'll do all that for you in 5 to 6 minutes. It's doing things that you couldn't even do if you had 3 weeks and 5 people working on the project. It is wild. The truth is most people think they're using ChatGPT and they're still on the 4.0 model. The new O3 model and honestly ChatGPT 5 that's coming out real soon, it's going to change the game, especially when it comes to deep research, to allow every team member to have an AI co-pilot with them doing the work. So I have this program called the Young Guns, which is like our internship program. And my philosophy with them is they're not allowed to take action on a to-do list without first doing a deep research project for them to get the insights of what people in the past have done around that task so that they can at least start with a good foot forward. So I get like 35-year-old maturity execution from a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds. The challenge that most people have using these models is understanding the prompt structure to get the most out of it. So if you're struggling with that, just find me on Instagram, send me the word prompt, just direct message it to me, and I'll send you a direct link to my internal document that I teach my team on how to use the 4-step prompt structure to get the most out of any AI. Which brings us to the next tool to build your $1 million business, Claude. Here's a hack. A lot of people use the web browser version. The problem is that when you execute these deep research projects, if you close your tab, sometimes it won't actually finish. If you use the mobile app on your phone and you can talk to it to execute, or you can just type it in, it'll run in the background so that sometimes I'll copy and paste the prompt and I'll put it in ChatGPT, I'll post it in Gemini, I'll post it in Claude, I'll post it in all of them, and then just see which one gives me the best answer. So as it stands today, and the thing about AI is it changes all the time, Claude has a better language model for copywriting and scripting text outputs. And that's why it's also the engine behind the scenes of Cursor and other programming languages, because it does a better job at creating really crystal clear, decisive, no hallucination output. See, that's a problem with a lot of these AI models is they hallucinate, they make up stuff, and you read it as if it's fact, and then you go take action on something that's not true because it says it with such confidence. So Claude right now, today, its new model, 4.0 Sonnet, is amazing for that. Is amazing for deep research, better than the O3 model. But when ChatGPT 5 comes out, we'll have to revisit it. Every time somebody becomes a customer in one of my businesses, we ask them to fill out an intake form so we can get to know more about them. So one of my companies, we grabbed all the intake forms and we uploaded it to ChatGPT and we said, act as a world-class marketer, extract all the insights, because this survey has everything from like the revenue range, number of employees, their desires, what they want to learn, what they're struggling with. And then we gave that to Claude, and Claude's answer was way more details, way more actionable, and way more insightful in the sense that it found from very unique perspectives that we didn't correlate, that ChatGPT didn't tell you. So each model will have different strengths. Claude has a better research around text and understanding the correlation between information and data. Which brings us to the next tool to build your $1 million business, Revio. Revio is essentially a co-pilot, AI-driven for chat bots on websites to help the person powering those chat bots close more deals. So if you've ever been on a website and it's like asked you if you have questions, that interaction is done by Revio. Why is that powerful? Well, most people have like customer support people sitting there chatting with the person, or they use some AI to automate the whole thing, but it loses a personal touch. With Revio, it sits in between. It leverages all the benefits of AI, but it still has a human in the loop so that you can do really smart things and not lose these potential buyers or prospects. I actually use this tool myself to help me come up with better answers when I'm chatting with people. At the end of the day, it doesn't chat for you. It's not automated, but it analyzes all the winning chats and all the situations. My favorite part of this tool is it summarizes everything. I could have been chatting with somebody for 3 months and it'll give me a summary of everything we've talked about, their situation, what they want, so that I can keep myself informed on their context, even if it's been weeks since I've talked to them. That tool you could not do with a spreadsheet and a bunch of people. And AI is still not there. If you want to actually grow your business, you need to use AI on the not customer facing stuff and you still be present to make sure that you can do the nuanced conversations that'll get them to trust you. It does a bunch of other crazy stuff. It does social media lead scoring. It can do some routing. It can do notifications. Revio is one of the most powerful AI enabled chat software. Again, it doesn't chat for you, that sits in between all your social media chats, your text message, your emails to help you bring in more revenue. Which brings us to the next tool to build your $1 million business, ChatGPT. This one's probably my favorite. So think about this. You have your team using Slack and they're talking and they're asking questions. Imagine if every time somebody posted a question in Slack, this AI powered chatbot monitored and said, oh, you're asking about vacation policy? Here it is. Oh, you're asking about this video? Here it is. Oh, you're asking about somebody's cell number? Here it is. It does that. So you have like a full-time person monitoring every conversation within your Slack context and replying to people, answering questions before anybody else has to help move the conversation forward. Biggest bottleneck in business is somebody that has a question unanswered that can't do their work. ChatAid will help you unblock everybody. So, you know, like every company has that guy or gal that sits in Slack all day long, is like the know-it-all and is always answering questions and always the first one to respond. And you ask yourself, where do they find the time to do all that responding? Because they can't be doing their work. They no longer have a job. ChatAid will take that away from them. And it is just where the world is going. Every company in the near future will have an organizational AI that has access to all the knowledge, all the documents, all the emails, all the meetings, all the conversations, all the Slack chats, so that it can be that mentor, peer advisor to new people, seasoned people, to help guide the company towards the direction it needs to go. I mean, the use cases is endless. I've seen it answer questions around vacation time off. I've seen it find videos for people that are trying to find something. Somebody that asked a question like, when is the next event? It answered it. I've seen it even pull data from Notion that is deep in a knowledge base and pull that forward to help somebody answer a question before anybody on the team actually had to write anything. Which brings us to the next tool to build $1 million business, Icon. This one could scare you because you'll realize how good AI is and how much time it's actually saving people. Icon's an AI ad maker that spins out hundreds of fresh ads from one prompt. You can use the base, you can ask it to create new ones, but you can get hundreds of new creative ideas dynamically, auto-generated, magically, that you can run on Facebook to find the winners, kill the losers, generate another 100, run the winners, kill the losers, and keep that process going. The days of becoming a world-class demand marketing expert are gone. Agencies are using this tool behind the scenes to make tens of millions of dollars. Businesses are paying them for ads. They're using Icon. They're charging them a fee to run those ads, and they're making bank. You need to use this for your own business. It's wild what it does. It scans your site, it scans your rival's site, and then it can draft winning ad ideas. It kills weak ads and scales winners on its own. I mean, it pretty much replaces Canva, CapCut, and about 3 other freelancers with one dashboard. Which brings us to the next tool to build your $1 million business, Gamma. So I have this simple philosophy. If you want to start a business, the first thing you gotta do is sell anything to a stranger. To do that, you probably gotta present something. Gamma takes all your business ideas and presents it in a very visual, turn-by-turn slide process that essentially creates a pitch deck for you. I mean, I've used it to raise capital. My teams have used it to sell their products. Gamma helps you take crazy business ideas and new strategies and concepts. Good decks close deals, and Gamma cuts build time to minutes from hours. I've used it so many different ways. I've pasted a bulleted list and get a finished branded deck just by using a list that I created in a meeting. I take the same deck and I flip it into a scrolling web page with one click, and it saves my team hours of struggling with good Google slides instead of just saying, look, we just want a visually compelling way to tell the story. I think most people don't realize that concepts can tell somebody something, but a good deck will sell somebody on something. It's about telling the story, and Gamma knows all the best practices if you've never done it before, and you will go in and you will impress potential buyers and clients and vendors. And let's say your bank's like, hey, let's meet up and talk about your business. Here's what our business does. Wow, that's so pretty. Did you hire somebody to help you create that? Yeah, we hired a world-class consultant. No, you use Gamma. Awesome sauce. Which brings us to the next tool to build your $1 million business, precision. The biggest challenge in any business is understanding your numbers. And more importantly, what's the number that's the most important? And today you can use AI to power all the data analysis to inform your team so that it could focus them on doing the right things at the right time. That's what precision does. It's like if AI built a dashboard for you that you use to monitor the health of your business, and it knew all the benchmarks, all the best practices, what is good. You see, the problem with most entrepreneurs, and I know I'm the same way, is if I start something new, what is a good conversion? What is a good revenue per client? What's good lifetime value? What's bad churn? If I don't know, then how can I fix something if I don't know it's a problem? That's what precision does for you, automagically. It's super cool. Every one of my companies use it. First off, you plug in your tools to bring in all the data. Then you automate the scorecard and the tracking, and it creates a dashboard to keep you and your team accountable. You put it up on a monitor. Okay, I have monitors in all my companies so that everybody can see it. If you want, you can pull it up on your phone. And then it uses AI to suggest strategy based on real data. So if your conversions for buying is low, it'll tell you how to increase your win rates by fixing your sales script. If you notice that your marketing isn't generating enough leads, it'll tell you the things you have to do to change your marketing to fix your lead generation. It'll even analyze how much you're spending on people in your company and what your revenue per headcount is, and tell you if that's good or bad, because maybe you have a bunch of inefficient people that you got to stop paying for. Which brings us to the next tool to build your $1 million business, Atlas. So Atlas is an AI voice system that essentially takes all your leads or inbound requests for you and automates the whole reach out, follow up, and scheduling to get your salespeople on a call faster than was ever possible before. We use Atlas for our Kings Club program to take all the kids that register at different times to schedule them and confirm by calling them. Atlas will call them, it's a voice, and get them to confirm that they're coming to the next event. That way we don't have 150 15-year-olds saying, yeah, I'm coming. I don't know if you know this, but they're not always the most trustworthy. And then find out 60 came out of 100 because we can only fit 100. So Atlas will make all those phone calls on our behalf, talk to them, confirm, answer any questions, and lock and load calendar invite all through AI. Here's what I see as a pandemic. Most businesses, they don't have enough customers, but the truth is they're not good enough to follow up with the leads. The other day, I wanted to talk to a bunch of recruiters. I started calling the numbers in Google Local, and nobody answered. With AI, not only could it have answered, it could have had a full-on conversation, got my details, even if nobody's available, scheduled me to get a call back or scheduled me to call with the owner of the business. Like I was a real lead. It could have qualified me. That's what Atlas does for you. Speed to lead is how you make more money. If there's an inbound call, there's somebody filled out a form. If somebody can call that person within seconds, you will increase your revenue by 2 to 3x. It is the most powerful way for you to be more efficient as a business owner, even if you're busy doing all the work, even if you're on site, even if you're like scheduled. If you call them right away and get them locked in with you, they'll stop looking for an alternative. If you don't, they're going to submit that form 3, 4, 5 times to different people, because that's what I did. I kept calling all the other recruiting firms. Just think about it for yourself. If you're like trying to book somebody to like tutor your kid and you call the first person and they answer and they're like, yeah, we can fit them out at 3 o'clock. No problem. Details, name, Kate, we're all confirmed. Can you text us if you can't make it? Perfect. You stop looking for another tutor. But if you call and nobody answers, you're going to call the next one. Nobody answers. You're going to call the next one. Nobody answer. The problem is that you're not available, but that's okay because AI can do those types of tasks and it sounds like a real person. You can have full-on conversations with it. Check it out. Go to youratlas.com and give it a try yourself. Here's the next tool to build your $1 million business, N8N. Now, this is an automation tool that is the most powerful and the most flexible. So technically more sophisticated, but it is an open source automation hub that links 500 plus apps with GPT smarts. And this is where we start talking about creating an agentic system. If you can get your whole business automated, every click you automate puts profit back into your pocket. So we use N8N in a lot of different places for deep technical analysis. So we'll take all the Fathom note-taking actions and straight into Asana, Monday, or ClickUp. We fire off Stripe webhooks and have GPT write the thank you emails. We run nightly bots that flag weird metrics and ping in Slack the right team members. It is how we do smart things at scale to build a foundation. Like if you want to get to 1 million fast, some things are a little bit more complicated and you're going to need a more sophisticated tool. Imagine you have a tool that can like scan the internet for anybody writing bad things about you, a Reddit review or whatever, and pings you right away. Like it goes back to the creativity. Your limitation is your ability to direct, not do, and N8N is the platform to create on. Which brings us to the last tool to build your $1 million business, Lovable. I'm telling you, don't sleep on playing around with this one. Okay. You can go in and type an idea for an app that in the past would have cost you $15,000, $25,000, $50,000. You hit enter, you sit back, you wait, and within minutes, it will build you a fully working software. Now, you might try it and go, that's not real. I'm telling you, it's real. Real code, real system, real deployment. I think the future of every department is the person that leads that department is going to create these disposable apps to solve problems for their teams, just like they use spreadsheets today. I mean, the truth is sure, we use NetSuite, we use Oracle, we use Salesforce, and you got a bunch of spreadsheets. Like every business is really run on spreadsheets. In the future, I think they're going to be run on disposable apps because it'll have inside the company access to all the different systems, your CRM, your financials, and then any person can write some text to ask it to build an app to pull that in to allow you to do some kind of app that like, if I hit this button, it does that. If I hit this button, it does that. You can just tell it to do it and it'll write the code for you. Deploy an app on your phone and it'll just work. It turns thoughts into products in minutes. The faster you ship ideas, the faster you learn. And when you can turn your thoughts into products in minutes, you will make money. Go use it. Try it out. Just say Stripe powered billing and watch Lovable build the stack. Import a Figma file, which is a design file, and get clean, responsive code. Hand the live prototype to developers with docs already done. Essentially, you can use it to get things going and then hire people to maintain the code base. Again, I've seen agencies launch building lovable apps for other people, making millions of dollars. Now, those tools will help you build your business with AI, but if you want to learn how to get rich in the AI revolution, click the video and I'll see you on the other side.